Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Alistair Seaton and I work for Informatica. Today I would like to speak with you all about organizations and how you can maximize your return on big data with Informatica. Informatica is uniquely positioned to provide all aspects of data integration and data management as it pertains to the topic of big data. So, first an introduction to Informatica. We're still not a household name, but many more people now in the sector know Informatica as a growing presence in the market. We're the #1 independent leader in data integration. Founded nearly 20 years ago, our focus then remains as it is now, to be the specialists in data integration and data management. It's all we do. We don't sell databases, we don't sell hardware, we don't sell infrastructure, we just make great data integration software, and this is our speciality. As you can see from the revenue figures on the screen, our annual growth is around 20%, so we're growing very fast. Despite these difficult economic times around the world, you can see that there's a great growth in what we're doing, and this resonates well with the customers we have, enabling them to realize more with their data, but for lower costs. Today, more than ever, companies are much more sensitive to the cost of their solutions, and the fact that we're able to build in these difficult times shows how our solutions are viewed very well in terms of the return on your investment. We have more than 4,000 customers worldwide, and many here in Turkey as well. So, nobody today denies that data is a major asset to any organization or company. Data is the lifeblood of the company, not the hardware, not the servers, not the infrastructure, not your systems, but the data and the information contained within. This data is vital to drive the sorts of business imperatives that businesses are trying to follow today. Things like the ability to improve decision-making, modernize the business that you're following, improve and reduce costs, to increase agility and make advantage of things like mergers or acquisitions that your companies may make, and also vitally in today's markets, the ability to retain and acquire customers in this increasingly saturated market. All the while, whilst doing this, you need to maintain compliance with regulations and reduce risk to your company. But there's a problem. All this data that the business users need and require is locked up with the IT. It's locked up in the silos of the transactional systems, your traditional databases, all the way across to things like your social interactions you have with your customers in the cloud. What we propose with the Informatica Platform is a solution that allows you to increase the value you get from that data. By making data more timely, actionable, accessible, relevant, secure and trustworthy, enables you to increase the value that you derive from the data that you already hold. But as well as increasing the value on that data, it's important to lower the costs of managing that data. The business costs, the labor costs associated with using that data can often be high. The Informatica Platform allows customers to drive down the cost of their software, drive down the cost of hardware and storage. So this is what I mean by maximizing the value of your data by reducing your costs. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. There are many independent research analysts, most notably Gartner, but also companies like Forrester and Ovum, that consistently rank Informatica higher than our peers. The two recent Gartner Magic Quadrants for enterprise data integration and data quality, we were ranked as clear leaders in these spaces. This, again, is an affirmation of our strategy in terms of the direction we're going. One of the main reasons we were rated so highly in enterprise data integration was our approach to big data. For Informatica, big data is not just a buzzword, the latest fashion. We've all heard how many people like to talk about big data, but often there's no substance behind it. Informatica is making substantial investment and bringing solutions that really help everyday processing of your big data environment. So, why Informatica? One of our key points is we're still an independent, neutral vendor. Key to what we provide and the infrastructure that we can deliver you is something that sits within your existing environment. We don't need you to swap out or change the systems you have today. We don't need you to make choices on the systems you use. We will work alongside your existing environments. For your database or your appliance, whether you choose from Oracle or Teradata or EMC or any of the leading vendors, we will always enable you to work within that environment. And you can be sure that in the future, you can continue to work with that environment, no matter what changes you make in the future. Extended by that, we work globally with all the major SI partners, and also have local partners, such as our partner Comtaş here in Turkey, to ensure that your projects will be a success. So after that introduction to Informatica, I'd like to move on to a little bit more detail about what we're doing in the realm of big data. So firstly, an introduction to what is big data. I guess you've probably heard a few things already this week around big data, and this won't be the last time you hear a definition of big data, but the common way of describing this is what's called the 3 V's: volume, variety, and velocity. Now, the most talked about aspect of big data is perhaps the volume. It's the most easily understandable aspect, and it's the pure data growth in data volumes that organizations are seeing. Not just the growth of data that companies produce internally, but also the data that exists with individuals and out there on the internet. The sheer growth of this volume means that we cannot manage data in the old way. Single monolithic databases or systems cannot handle this type of growth, so we need to find a new paradigm for dealing with this data volume. Less talked about aspects of big data are variety and velocity. Now, the vast amount of big data is the variety of data. So we're not talking just about traditional database transactions, but also data from a variety of sources. Social media, data from companies like Facebook and Twitter, feeds from sensor data, from machine-generated data, and also unstructured hierarchical data, data that's traditionally much harder to deal with in an existing paradigm. Finally, velocity. As you can see here, the business value of data changes very much over the time period of data. When data is first created or enters the organization, it has a very high business value. At that point, the data is actionable. It allows businesses to make important decisions about ongoing events. As the data gets older to minutes, hours, days, weeks, and months, the data loses its value. So it's critical from a business perspective to deal with that data as soon as you have it. So what are the opportunities for big data? The 2 major goals of big data allow organizations to do 2 things. One is to do new things that they weren't previously able to do. Due to the sheer size of the data, the complexity and the variety of the data, they haven't previously been able to derive the full value from this. By tackling big data, it allows organizations to deliver new functionality and allows them to do things that they haven't previously done. The second, and also important point, is to continue doing the things that you're doing today, but in a much more cost-effective manner. As I've mentioned, driving down costs is extremely important. Budgets are not unlimited. We need to find better ways of doing what we do today in a more cost-effective manner. In fact, Forrester notes that the business and the people looking to adopt these solutions expect big benefits from big data. Traditional paradigms cannot support all the existing big data challenges, so a new big data paradigm has emerged, the ability to deal with these data in a new way. Now, the way we deal with big data is not to replace what we've done before, not to throw away existing investments. This is a complementary way of working, parallel to your existing systems. So whereabouts are the big data opportunities? Traditionally, people talk about opportunities in the sales and marketing space. These are the examples that most commonly come to mind. In marketing, the ability to do brand monitoring, sentiment analysis, to increase the effectiveness of campaigns, to gain better customer insight, to allow campaigns to be more successful. Also in the region of sales, being able to generate better leads, to capture those leads more effectively and actually convert better on those leads as well is extremely important. But beyond sales and marketing, there's also the other areas in which big data can be useful, most notably in customer service and support. Wouldn't it be nice to support your customers better by understanding issues that they have, to understand where possible issues or epidemics are coming around issues that exist online? Likewise in finance, for example, the ability to better manage risk of a company, or the ability to better detect fraud or problems within the organization. So let's put some detail on this. What does Informatica do in terms of helping around the area of big data integration? There are three major trends within the big data space. One is what we first call big transaction data. This transaction data is the data that sits within your traditional OLTP databases, in your OLAP databases, and in new data warehouse appliances. These are the large amounts of data and large volumes that exist in your systems. Secondly, there's the area of big interaction data. This is an area traditionally not processed or not looked after by companies, but there's huge amounts of data and information to be gained by trying to realize where information exists within social media, what your customers are saying about you, what the customers are saying to each other about you. But also with the advent of many people on mobile devices, call sensor data, clickstream data, machine and device generated data, there's a huge wave of data from various number of sources that's not correctly utilized today. The final of the three areas is in the area of big data processing. As I mentioned before, existing paradigms are not often strong enough or able to cope with the sheer volume or complexity of data. So from this problem arose a new platform for data processing. Hadoop is a new system that's fast becoming an enterprise standard for processing data in vast amounts while retaining the lower costs required from commodity hardware. These three things come together to what we call Informatica big data integration and allow you to realize the value from processing these amounts of data. So in some more detail, let's look at the three points. Firstly, big transaction data. As I mentioned, this focuses on your existing databases and data warehouse appliances. Whether you choose Exadata from Oracle, Greenplum from EMC, or other large systems like Teradata, there's a lot of data in there, but it's difficult to manage sometimes. The process of getting data into these systems, or the process of transforming and processing this data once it's in the system, can often be a hard task of hand-coded SQL, of scripting, and other issues of dealing with things like manual configuration of bulk loaders. Informatica provides wide connectivity to all your source systems, all your source data, enables you to load data into these systems and deal with it quickly and efficiently. The other advantages of many of these appliances is that they're very efficient and very good at processing data. It makes sense to do as much of the work as you can in these systems. But we don't want to get involved with having to write, again, many pages of SQL scripts or code that's difficult to develop and maintain. With the Informatica solution, we're able to continue our normal graphical paradigm of developing integration tasks, data transformation tasks, but processing this down on the database by pushing the work down onto the appliance, greatly increasing your efficiency and reducing your costs. Next, the area of big interaction data. So as mentioned, much of big data now is coming from social media sources, but also other sources such as device data or stream or sensor data. If I take an example from the mobile telco industry, they are already processing the vast volumes of CDR, the call data records that they have. But something like big data would allow you to take the physical information of the switches, of the cell towers, and the details on call strength. Every time a call is dropped on your mobile phone, that data is recorded somewhere, but often not actioned by the industry itself. Wouldn't it be nice to cross-reference this data internally so that when a customer is frequently having problems with their mobile phone, dropped calls or network issues, a customer service representative could contact this person proactively and try and resolve the issues before they got frustrated and annoyed with your company. Likewise, the Informatica MDM solution is a way of managing your customer data, or your other types of data. This, combined with social media, allows you to better understand your customer. To know your customer is something that all organizations would like to do. It's extremely important to understand the value of your customers so that you can treat them with appropriate respect. Finally, big data processing. So I mentioned earlier the new paradigm of Hadoop. For those of you who don't know Hadoop, it's a new way of processing data based on commodity hardware that again drastically reduces the need for large, expensive servers. It can run on commodity hardware and allow you to process the large amounts of data, of unstructured data, in a quick and efficient way. Again, the Informatica solution can help here. Many years ago, when we first started producing our tools for ETL, the ability to extract, transform, and load data for data warehouses at that time was very manual, was script-based, and required many, many pages of SQL code. Now, Informatica provide tools and solutions as company realized that to manage this manual effort was expensive and difficult to maintain. Now, with Hadoop, we're back to a similar situation. Hadoop is still in its infancy, and there are not many tools to support it. Again, it becomes a very manual task. You require highly skilled people to write the code and try and make it work in your organization. Informatica has continued its ability in this area by allowing you to continue to design your data integration tasks, your data processing tasks, and push these down onto Hadoop for native execution. This allows you to realize the benefits of Hadoop in terms of the ability to process and handle large amounts of data, all the while having lower costs in doing so. But at the same time, the traditional power of Informatica, which is the comprehensive unified solution to allow you to manage the data in a more cost-effective, easy-to-use manner. So, in summary, I'd like to look at a few customers we have that are doing things already in the big data space. Firstly, Linkshare, which is an online marketing solutions provider. They've managed to increase their profitability and market share and now have around 11 million partnerships. They source up to 500 data sources every day and deal with 300 million transactions, resulting in billions of records processed. This is all to support 300,000 users in real time. Westpac is a leading global 500 financial institution based in Australia. They provide retail banking, insurance, and other services to their customers. They wanted to increase their customer satisfaction, improve their customer experience, so they embarked on a process of understanding their brand, sentiment analysis, and they did this by combining data from their social media, Facebook, Twitter feeds, and also with their own internal data and their internal transaction records. By putting all these components together, they managed to understand their clients much better and drive significant improvements in customer service. Lastly, T-Mobile is the well-known global mobile telco company. T-Mobile in the USA wanted to improve their customer retention. They were losing many customers, and through adapting a process of understanding their customers better, the sentiment analysis, they were able to halve their customer losses and run the better campaigns that they were going through. Now, to augment their warehouse and other areas of business, they're using Hadoop with Informatica to process these huge amounts of data to drive better insight into their customers. Finally, Thomson Reuters, the well-known brand who provides an online legal search service for legal professionals in the USA. They have an online service that allows you to search through more than 2 billion documents in a matter of seconds. What they needed to do was aggregate and take data from many different sources, different tables, XML structures, unstructured data, documents, social media, logs and surveys, and process all these in much faster time. By using Informatica alongside Hadoop, they were able to process this data much quicker and reduce their processing speeds for these sorts of tasks from weeks to just days. Well, I hope it's been interesting. It's been a very quick look at how Informatica can help in the area of big data. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite you to an event we're running here in Istanbul on the 10th of October in conjunction with our local partner Comtaş, who will provide more information on this subject. If not, pass by our booth outside. Thank you.